It's Friday morning. Have an opportunity to get out here and hunt for a little bit. It's about 45 degrees and full moon this morning, so we actually had a lunar eclipse this morning, which is pretty cool to see. But plan for this morning is to make my way into an area that I've never been before. So I'm mostly gonna just kind of do some scouting, some still hunting from the ground, and trying to avoid the pressure. This area has been extremely pressured this year, so not sure what I'm gonna find, but as always, you gotta get out and explore new grounds, so that's what I'm gonna do. Almost got into that area I was really wanting to hunt, and actually got busted by a deer right here off of this road. I was standing, got it right back up over in there. I think it was a doe. She kind of blew and busted out. I just dropped to the ground and grunted a couple times, and I stopped her. Eventually, she just blew out, took off back around to the other side of this thick stuff here. So interesting. Mark this spot on my map. Definitely something I may come back to at a later date. Right. So I made my way down to my marker. Got back in here. Did find a rub, a couple scrapes. Nothing super fresh, so I think I'm gonna backtrack, go back up to where I saw, or where I jumped that deer this morning. Make my way in there a little further, maybe set up, see if I can catch a buck, kind of cruising through that area. Seems like a place they feel comfortable moving. I'm making my way out. Decided to dip in across from where I was, set up on the ground, over the creek. I found when I go over this next ridge and hit another creek bottom and try to follow it back to the main trail, scout my way out. I started coming down, trying to make my way around to kind of the point of this ridge. I started coming across several scrapes. I actually just came across that big rub there. It's actually fairly fresh. You could see a lot of sign. You can see bark at the bottom of the tree and see it's probably been hit within the last week. So definitely really starting to like this area. It's way back in here, so maybe a lot of people don't come in here. Keep working my way around this ridge, hopefully finding more sign, marking it on my maps. I kind of study it. Start trying to figure out maybe how these deer are moving through here. Alright. I kept pushing back in here. I found some deer poop that looked fairly fresh. So I set up actually about 40 yards that way. Just did kind of some blind calling. Just to see if maybe there was anything that would respond to it. Waited about 10-15 minutes, nothing came in. Probably should have waited a lot longer, but I started easing my way back kind of down to this bottom. Sure enough, I jumped a buck. Back up over here, ran along that edge, kind of back off into that big stuff. So looked like maybe a 3-year-old buck. Wasn't very big. I don't know if he was even legal, but so I kind of made my way down to see if I could see if he was bedded down, eating or what. I came across this rub here. Nice fresh scrape. That thing's definitely been maintained. And then over here on the same limb, you can see that kind of dirt spot. That's an old scrape. But they're hitting this tree here that's growing up at an angle. So I don't think I'm gonna go any further in here. This is an area they obviously feel comfortable. I think I'm gonna try to find a tree, and drop a pin, but it's a good spot either for this season or next. Okay, just got back to the main trail. Got everything marked on onX that I needed to. Definitely hate to walk away from deer sign like that, especially when you find a buck at the end of it. I don't think the deer that I jumped was legal. It looked like maybe a 3-year-old 8-point, but still, that sign is exactly what you want to look for when you're out here scouting. I hate to walk away from it, but we are headed to Mississippi tomorrow to spend some time with family and do some hunting on the family property. So I've got to get back and get stuff together for that trip, and also kind of close out my work week. It is Sunday morning. It's the end of November, and just got back in to town from Mississippi yesterday afternoon. Just so happens a cold front actually blew in overnight, so I think I'm gonna have the right winds to go in and hunt an area I actually found end of the week before. It had a lot of buck sign in it, scrapes, so we had a lot of rain overnight, so I'm hoping that I may catch a couple bucks maybe cruising through there to freshen up scrapes and possibly get a shot. So got about a 3-mile bike ride in, and then a short hike to kind of get back down into this creek bottom that I'm going to be hunting. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on getting my gear together and making my way back there. Alright, I just finished getting set up down here in this bottom. I ended up having to ditch the tree stand at the bike, just with all the rain and everything. I was kind of running behind. Wasn't as easy to ride my bike back in here as I thought it was going to be. The mud really slowed me down, so I opted to just set up here on the ground, found some good cover. The wind right now is kind of calm. It's supposed to be out of the north, I think, where I'm set up. It might be a just off wind. It's hard to say, again, first time hunting this. From what I can see, the deer trail's out in front of me here. The wind's going to be in my face, but I could have deer come in from behind me, so I'm hoping I'm just off of that. If not, I'll have to make a move once the sun comes up, and I can kind of see a little better, find another good spot to set up. So just gonna sit tight here and let the sun come up and hope we find some action this morning. It's a little after 7:30. You can probably hear this squirrel in the background barking at me, but he ended up running down this tree and he's been barking at me for probably 10 minutes, so I tried to throw something at him and he just won't leave. Squirrel season is open. I may end up trying to shoot this dang squirrel just to shut him up. It's 9:30. I have not seen any deer come through this area. The only excitement this morning was that squirrel encounter, so I think I'm gonna try to push a little deeper in, see if I can find any more sign. Possibly make my way around to another entry point to see if it's possible to come in that way. If it's not, then I may backtrack and go pull the camera I hung a little over a week ago. Just really wasn't planning on leaving it for a while. I just wanted to see if there was anything moving in there. So I may go pull that, just see if anything's moving there and put that camera back in my bag. But this morning did not turn out the way I expected it to. Really thought I was going to see some deer come through here. I'm headed back into the same area I was in yesterday. There's some guys in the parked at the trailhead. I actually got their contact info yesterday on my way out. So they're actually kind of hunting back in the area I was yesterday morning, which works out. I was actually planning on pushing further east of that area, kind of where I left off yesterday, and try to keep scouting a little further to the east. So I make my way back here, kind of slow move along transition lines between either clear cuts and creeks or clear cuts and kind of the swampy bottom back in here. So probably about 2 or 3 miles worth of hiking and see what kind of sign I get into once I get back there. Just got over kind of the 1 mile mark into here and started finding more deer sign along this old road, which always kind of tells me there's not a lot of pressure back here. Deer feel comfortable coming out here on this old trail. Found some old scrapes just right along and right off the road, so none of it was fresh. So I'm not gonna worry about hunting it. I'm gonna keep pushing in, but definitely comes with something to keep in mind if you're noticing deer sign right along a road or a trail. There's probably not a lot of pressure back in there. They feel comfortable coming out and moving along that. Well, I was walking through this trail, moving along really well, and all of a sudden I hit a dead end. Just ended. So I don't know if I can push through this or not, or if I need to just try to bust brush and dive down into the creek bottom here to my east and hope that it opens up a little bit. So think about what I want to do, make my next move. Just had to bust a lot of brush to get in here. It got real nasty. As soon as I popped up out of the creek, I came across that big, looks like probably a signpost rub. The scrape of the tree has not been worked, but I can see a doe track in there, and the rub itself looks like something was rubbing in here within the last couple of days. Still see some fresh wood shavings at the bottom of the tree. So I'm starting to kind of zone in on a little fresher side. Keep easing up a little, but I may end up circling back and setting up right here. I think I got the wind in my favor where I am. So I'll poke around a little more to try to find some more sign. About the time I started getting excited about this area, I came across this pine tree here. And noticed all the bark at the bottom of it. It just stood out to me. I started looking. You can actually see marks on the tree. You can see marks on the tree from where someone's been going up and down. It was a climbing stand, so somebody's been in here hunting. So just kind of keep moving along now. I don't think I'm gonna get tied up in here. It's just obviously getting some pressure. Alright, I just really kind of made my way all the way around to get to this area I wanted to hunt. Right as I popped in here, I came across a really fresh scrape. Looks like it's probably been worked this morning or last night. So there's definitely some deer in this area. It's just a matter of where to set up from here. I can see back over my shoulder. It kind of opens up and it looks like a little pine grove. That scrape is right there. So you can see it's very fresh. Still see claw marks in it, so poke around a little more. Scout up in that kind of pine grove. If I see any more sign, I may set up there if the wind's right. If not, I may work back down to the area I was hoping to get to. So I think I'm gonna set up in this area. Found several more scrapes. Actually got a little rub. Something tore that up at some point. But I've actually found another scrape on that area there. It's older, hadn't been worked. The other one that was fresh was just right over there. And then actually back, just right over there, there was another scrape. So I think the deer are moving along this route here. I got the wind coming in my face, kind of carrying back toward the way I came. So I think if I set up right at the base of this big oak tree, a bunch of fallen limbs by that rub, that old rub, and I can make kind of a backdrop and tie some branches out of the way to make a couple shooting lanes. If I do see anything, I'm probably not going to get a lot of footage on the big camera. just because it's kind of tight quarters in here. But, go ahead and get started. Get this done. It's about 3 o'clock, a little after, so almost magic time. Alright, well, you can see I'm back at the house. Last night's hunt ended with me getting busted. It seems to be the theme of my season. I'm probably going to have to get away from trying to ground hunt in the forest. The forest floor is just too thick, so they really sneak up on you before you can really spot them and get eyes on them. Not to mention I'm pretty fidgety as a person, so I don't do a very good job of staying still. So maybe ground hunting isn't quite for me. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. This last night was probably the last chance I'll get to hunt public land in the 2021 season. So I think I'm going to get the opportunity to go down to Freer, Texas here, possibly this weekend, to my brother-in-law's lease to shoot some pigs, maybe some javelinas, possibly a management buck if the opportunity presents itself. Also have another hunt coming up on a day lease type of thing. Never done that before, but I was invited to do that. So looking forward to that. Hopefully get some good footage and possibly an opportunity on some deer there as well. So I appreciate all of you watching and hope you're enjoying the videos.